Driving lesson number 3. There's a guy turning up there and I'm turning, but I get to go first because I'm turning right and he would have to turn in front of me. And he kind of cut the corner short there, but so what? You know, there's some people that are crazy. Always look to your left and look in your mirror to see if there's oncoming traffic when merging into the highway. There is a car coming. I got my signal on. I'm running out of emerging room. So there, I did it. And I'm doing 60 miles an hour. So, but I'm getting off at this exit right here. So about 500 feet before your exit, you give your signal. So now I'm giving my signal, as you can see. I'm going to start slowing down since there's not much traffic behind me. There's no need to hit the ramp at freeway speed. And if you can go ahead and coast and slow down, it's better on your brakes. That way you don't, you know, overheat them or anything like that. And as you can see, I'm at 35 miles an hour, and I didn't have to really put as much effort into braking because I started coasting a little while back. Be looking that way first, and then look that way, look back that way one more time, and look this way, and then proceed. Always double check yourself, you know, so that way you can always make sure, because sometimes you may think, you look over there and you think there was nothing there, and all of a sudden you look back and there sure enough was. And it's always best to look and double check your traffic flow that you're crossing into. Always stop before the stop sign, not after the stop sign. I'm going to look that way, I don't see anybody, and I'm going to look that way, and you see, lo and behold, here comes a tractor. And he wasn't there the first time I looked. So that kind of illustrates what can happen in just a second or two. We have about a 13-mile trip on this video, and we have a sign up here that has a cross on it, and that means that there is a road up here that goes left and right, and the maximum speed limit on this hill is 50 miles per hour. What it did was it was a cross with a number 50, meaning the speed limit is 50 passing through that intersection. Once you pass it, you go back up to posted speed limit, which is 60. So right now I'm coasting down this hill, because if you have your cruise control on, it'll try to maintain your speed of 60, and sometimes it'll cause your engine to race up. It's called engine braking, which I don't like to do in my car. I just rather coast and just tap the brake occasionally, and then I'll put my cruise control on about right here. And sometimes when you're going down a hill, your cruise will throw you into downshifting and cause your RPMs to jump on up just to keep you at your set speed. Always make sure you keep your insurance card handy, and that way in case you get pulled over, you don't have to search for it. Police do not like for people to start digging through compartments, because they don't know who you are, and they don't know if you've got anything dangerous that you could be reaching for. So it's best to have your insurance card pretty much where you can get to it in plain sight, like on your windshield visor or something like that. Or you can stick it somewhere inside your gauge, like your speedometer, or someplace where it'll tuck in there. So remember about the passing lines. There's no yellow line on each side of the lane markers, so you can pass in this area on both sides. But whenever you have a solid yellow line along your side of the lane, that means that's a no passing zone. Sometimes you'll see a no passing zone sign, which is a triangular sign with a long nose that points, and it'll say no passing. And it's any warning sign is always yellow, except for stop, which is a command. A warning is something you look out for, but red means stop in every occasion. See, now I have a solid yellow line in my lane because I'm coming up over a hill. And because I cannot see over the hill, they have a solid yellow line that says do not pass until you can see clearly. And now I'm still got a solid yellow line because I'm in a curve now. But in the moment I can see clearly, which is right now, I have no passing, but they have a solid line because they cannot see around the curve that we just came from. And as you can see, I'm coming up to a curve, and now my solid yellow line, which is a no passing line, starts there. And I'll have this line until. See, they have their solid yellow because they're in a curve as well. So this area here is no passing for either lane under any circumstance unless an emergency. I now have a clear view and I have passing permitted. But the thing about passing is, if the car in front of you is doing 1 or 2 miles below the speed limit, yes, you can pass them, but it is against the law for you to exceed the speed limit to pass them. Nowhere does it say you can brake, because nowhere does it say you can exceed the speed limit to pass someone. So that's what a lot of people do. You know, they'll go around you at 60 and 70 miles an hour, but they're actually breaking the law. So be careful when you pass someone not to exceed the speed limit, and to give yourself plenty time and plenty room if you're going to pass someone, because there could be a car coming like up there and I pass someone and I don't go over the speed limit and I run out of room, and then you have to do whatever it is to prevent the collision. So here we are crossing a bridge, and no passing, of course. A blue sign indicating roadside park ahead, 1/2 mile, means there is an entry to the park up here. Here I am doing 60 miles an hour, and I've got someone coming up on me in my mirror. That means they're wanting to go faster than the speed limit. And since they're getting closer and closer, they're probably going to wind up passing me. I got someone up here that's turning at the roadside park. They have their signal on, and I was far enough behind them without having to make any adjustments to my speed or my braking. So that's one thing to watch out for. I have a curve coming up here, so that means I'm going to have a no passing line on my side of the road, which is starting right there, as you can see. And that will occur until I clear this curve. Now there is a no passing line on their side, meaning that because they can't see around the curve, that means they have one as well. I now have no passing line, but since I'm approaching a new curve, I'll eventually get another line, which is right there. Up ahead is a yellow triangular sign, and when you read it, it says falling rock. That means be aware that rocks can be in the roadway, because we're on the side of a cliff right there, or a bluff that has a lot of loose rock. And at any point, there's a sign there that had a T, and it said 55 was the maximum speed limit. And since I looked off to the edge, I slightly swerved because I wasn't watching what I was doing. You have to be careful. The falling rock could be dangerous, because you could be driving and all of a sudden some rocks fall down in the roadway and run right in front of you. If you hit a rock that's like 6 inches or so in diameter or bigger, it could cause your car to wreck and flip and could kill you. So be quite aware of any rock that's on the side of a cliff line that could break free from that face of that bluff at any time, and then roll out into the roadway. You roll over anything as big as a baseball, and it will tear your car up. It also may make you lose control, because you could have a tire that could blow out. So be quite aware of that. And you don't even have to have a sign that says falling rock. All you got to do is just look around you, and you'll see in some areas there's high cliffs that have loose rock everywhere, and you can tell because there'll be loose rocks at the base of the wall. So be careful with that. Also be aware of any animals like deer, and if you've ever hit a deer, especially at nighttime, it can really scare you if you know what I'm talking about. Sometimes you get lucky and it doesn't do too much damage, but at other times it can tear your car to pieces. They can come up over the hood, smash your windshield, and cause you to oversteer, overcorrect, and throw yourself into a spin and flip your car over. That would be pretty rough. We've got a junction up here. There's a road that goes left and right, and it's stating Highway 76 one direction and Highway B the other direction. Those are just information signs. Always check your speed limit. Look down at your gauges, look in your mirrors. You do that every couple of minutes, or however often as you feel like it, but don't let it be too far along. Always know where your surroundings are. It's always beautiful scenery at times. Always somewhere around at the end of a bridge there could be deer crossing, because down below that bridge there's water at times, and that's where the deer go drink. So they might have a normal trail that would take them up at the bridge's edge to cross over the road. We're coming up to another bridge which has this guardrail. You don't want to hit that guardrail because it'll tear up your car, but it keeps you from driving off in a very, very deep ditch. So be aware of that as well. I'm coming up to a hill, which in this instance is coming into the next town, because I know where we're at, and you know where we're at too. So more than likely you'll be very familiar with your driving surroundings, because unless you go pretty much out of town, you'll be driving the same roads pretty much all the time. So I'm going to hit my brake, which will disengage my cruise control, and start coasting into the town. Look into your mirror, look into the side mirrors over there, and then start watching your signs. Up there is a yellow triangular sign, and it's got a red light symbol in it, and it had a red light on the top of it that was lit up, meaning that be aware that the light that you're coming up to could be changing to red. It was just trying to tell you there's a traffic signal ahead, and there it goes, it's changing to red. And so what you do is, when you see that where it's flashing red or says the word RED, or there's a red light, you might as well go ahead and start slowing down, because by the time you get there you're going to be hitting the red light. and there's no need to come into the red light system at high speed. So right now it says left turn yield on flashing arrow, which you probably won't be able to see that, but I can turn, but there are cars coming. So now that I'm going, and he's going to wait on me right there like he should. And we got signs there, and if I'll stay in my lane, we'll be okay. Speed limit is 45. I'm fixing to turn, so I'll give my signal. I'll look in the back and my mirror to see whether or not I got someone approaching me at high speed that doesn't know I'm turning. And if they don't see that I'm turning, I'm going to go ahead and go straight so that I can avoid a collision, a rear-end collision. Because they may not see my signal, and they may be looking down at their seat, changing a radio station, looking down at their phone, and they don't see that I'm turning. So I have to watch out for the traffic behind me while I'm making a turn and make adjustments accordingly. Like if the person behind me didn't see me turning, I would just stay on the straight, and I would go ahead and go straight instead of turning, and then make a turn later down the road. It beats getting hit. So here I am at my location, and that will be the end of this driving test, and then we'll have another one at some other time, but it will be shortly. I hope you enjoyed the test, and once again, thank you.